Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Today we have with us Karen Wish with Graphics by Design. And not only design and things like that, she also does social media for many agencies. A lot of them are not-for-profits. So she's going to join us a little bit today to talk about utilizing social media for your cause. So welcome, Karen.
Hi, how are you doing, Alicia?
Doing great, thanks. Can you tell a little bit about what Graphics by Design does?
Okay, well, I'm a one-man team, right? And I started out doing graphic design. I graduated with a degree from University of Missouri, Columbia in graphic design. And over time, I've kind of morphed into social media and website development, things that weren't available when I graduated from college, but now are how people seem to communicate the best. So that's what I do.
And I know you work with quite a few coalitions on different grants and things like that. So give us just a few tips and tricks that you help them promote their coalition, their programming, things like that.
Well, everybody uses the events, right? When you have an event, it's great to advertise that on Facebook and on any of the other social media platforms that you use. But for most of the people I work with, our demographics are adults, and so we use Facebook and Twitter and sometimes Instagram, and I'm starting to use YouTube a lot more because that's where things are going, right? Facebook and YouTube are big market shares, especially with people who are, 30 to 55, which the people I work with are trying to communicate and teach those people so that they can go out and reach more of the younger people. So
I know one of the things that we constantly talk about is the consistency of the posting. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
right. As we've talked about, whether you have a blog or you have social media, it's important that you are posting frequently. If you are a source of information for a community and they want to rely on that information, they have to have a way to access it. And you posting and reminding them that you're an expert in that area helps facilitate that.
Do you always, when you do post, do you always drive folks to the website, or do you just sometimes do a post?
There's all kinds of ways you can do it. Sometimes you have an infographic, which you give information out. Sometimes you do an event, so you're explaining about something right now, mainly virtual events, right? But a way to communicate to people that you have something going on. But oftentimes it's to a specific area on your website that people may not be looking at and don't realize there's a huge source of information there.
Talk a little bit about images when you're posting videos and images. What are some of the tips that you can give folks as far as using those kinds of resources?
Okay, well, first off, I guess it's important for people to understand that images and videos attract people to a post. If you just have text, most people aren't going to give it a second glance. But if you have something that is topic related of an image, whether it's kids with parents interacting, a lot of the people I work with are people, again, that are trying to talk to kids about prevention and drug misuse and things like that. So, oh, my screens just went down. Sorry. Anyway, so fresh images are kind of a big deal. And I know that images get expensive for people. So I'll post in our response, our reply section, some places that you can go for free images like pixel.com and Pixabay and unsplash.com. And a lot of people may utilize those already, but those are a great place to get free video or free images. But there's also inexpensive ways to get quality images. I a lot of times go to a website called AppSumo, and they will have specials. Right now they've got a special for, let me see the name of it. I use it all the time, Stock Unlimited Images, and there's a couple others that they have. And so you can get like Stock Unlimited Images, I think it's 3 years of downloads. You can download anything you want off their site for $59. And I've got a link that you can save $10. So it would be $49 for 3 years worth of images. And I can usually find topical things, because sometimes like Pixabay will have a lot of nature photos. They won't have a lot of stuff that I need, you know, more topical information or photos. So that's one I use.
Okay,
and again,
great.
we'll post that in the reply section so people can see what I'm talking about.
Right, right. That's great. Because those are the things I think people are like, I don't want to use these stock images that I, you know, might have loaded on my computer. I want something a little more fancy, but I think
Right.
people would be lost on where to go. So I appreciate that
Well, and
information.
sometimes, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over
No, go
you.
ahead.
Sometimes, I mean, right now it's really hard because we're not having a lot of live events. But when you have a live event, if you have photos from that event, people love to see themselves. You know, especially our youth like to see themselves a lot on Facebook and things like that. Probably need a release for your event before you start posting those pictures, just so you don't get in trouble with anybody. But video or an image from an actual live event that you have is gold, right? So,
So in talking social media and utilizing it to the best of, like, let's say a coalition's ability, what are like the top 3 steps, the top three points that you would give to them?
okay. Gosh, kind of stumped me here, but you know, make sure that you know who you're talking to. You know, who is your audience? Like ACT Missouri, it's not children that we're trying to talk to, right? We're trying to talk to adults so they can get information and use it appropriately. And make sure that the content is something that's important, what you are doing, right? ACT Missouri would be weird if you posted a recipe on your Facebook page. That's not what you guys do. So learning how to make a good chocolate chip recipe would not be appropriate on your Facebook page, right?
Right.
It should add value to people's lives. So, and again, post consistently, right? You don't want to post 1 week and then be 3 months before they see anything else on your Facebook or on any of your social media feeds.
Now, when you say consistently, what would be a good, like, every day, every other day, twice a day?
Well, I think it depends again on your audience. You know, Facebook, people look at, you know, it's said that 75% of the people that are on Facebook look at their Facebook account at least once a day. And I think they do, you know, a lot of people I know are on their way too much. I'm like, you can't be working right now. You can't be posting all this and be working, right? But I think Facebook's one of those social media accounts that kids don't really have, but they kind of do. I mean, they just don't utilize them so much, but the adults do, and it's a huge audience, right? Facebook's been around for 15 years. I can't even believe that, right? So, but again, I think it depends on your audience, and you can look into your insights and see like when people are viewing your information. There's all kinds of stuff you can see, but I would say you'd want to post 2 or 3 times a week. You know, you don't have to post every day, but as long as you have good quality information that you're sharing, people will come back, right?
Right. Yeah, and that's the other thing that I'm glad you mentioned, was looking at those insights and getting the data that Facebook collects and using that to drive your further social media work that you do.
Right. And I mean, if you get into the technical side, you can always set up links through Facebook to lead back to your website, and you can read into that and see how often that successfully works. I mean, there's so many different variables and high-tech stuff you can do, but the low-tech stuff that everybody should be doing is consistency. And any media that you're going to use, you need to keep on sending the information out. And don't feel bad if you send out the same information more than once, right? How many times have you seen McDonald's sell a cheeseburger? You know they sell cheeseburgers, you know they sell soda, but they keep reminding you, right? Because they want to be your source for that food. So anything you say you can say again, and you may not hit the same audience every time, right?
That's great. I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate the advice. And Karen said she would drop that information about the images in the comment section. So take a look at that. And thank you so much for joining me. And I will talk to you later.
Thanks, Alicia. Bye-bye.
Bye.